My name is Roland Thatcher, and at 52 years old, I thought I'd seen the worst life could throw at me. For 2 decades, I worked as a warehouse supervisor at Brennan Logistics, a job that demanded precision, grit, and an unwavering commitment to doing things right. It wasn't glamorous, but it was honest work, moving shipments, keeping schedules, ensuring everything arrived where it needed to be. My son Colby was my pride and joy, a 24-year-old with his whole life ahead of him, just starting as a dispatcher at Ridgefield Trucking Company. He was the kind of son who never missed our Sunday night phone calls, who'd ask me how to fix a leaky faucet or navigate a tough day at work. Then there was Jolene, my ex-wife, the woman I once thought I'd grow old with. We were married for 26 years, building a life together around our son, our home, and what I thought was love. But everything I believed about my life, my family, my son's death, my marriage, was shattered the day I found a lockbox under Colby's bed. Inside was $250,000 in cash, 6 flash drives, and a note that exposed a truth so devastating, it rewrote my entire world. Point 1. My life before the tragedy. Life before everything fell apart was steady, predictable, and good. Every morning I'd wake at 5 a.m., brew coffee in the chipped blue mug Colby gave me when he was a kid, and head to the warehouse by 5:45. My crew at Brennan Logistics trusted me because I led by example, stacking pallets, driving forklifts, sweating alongside them to meet deadlines. I'd built a reputation as a stickler for safety, writing up workers for skipping protocols and earning safety awards that hung proudly on my office wall. Colby grew up watching me, learning the value of hard work and integrity. He'd follow me around the warehouse as a kid, wide-eyed, asking questions about every machine and process. At home, things with Jolene weren't perfect. She was a real estate agent, always chasing the next big sale, always dreaming of a life bigger than the one we had. At 5'6", with striking auburn hair and piercing green eyes, she had a charisma that could light up a room, or burn it down. Over the years, her affection for me faded, replaced by a restless dissatisfaction. "Roland, why don't you aim higher?" she'd say, pushing me to take a cushy management job I didn't want. "We could have a better house, a better life." I'd tell her we had enough, a sturdy home, 2 reliable cars, and a son who was making his mark on the world. But for Jolene, enough was never enough. My older brother, Dwayne, was my rock. At 55, he ran a gritty auto repair shop on the edge of town, his hands always black with grease, his broad shoulders carrying the weight of a life spent fixing what was broken. Dwayne never married, claiming his shop and his tools were all the family he needed. But he loved Colby like his own, teaching him how to wrench on engines and cheering louder than anyone at his high school football games. Dwayne saw the cracks in my marriage before I did. "Roland, Jolene's pulling away," he warned me one night over beers in his garage. "She's got that look, like you're not part of her plans anymore." I brushed it off, convinced it was just a phase. I was wrong. Point 2. Colby's new job and first signs of trouble. Colby landed his job at Ridgefield Trucking 3 months before everything changed. At 24, he was thrilled to be coordinating dispatch for their northern routes, 30 trucks under his command, a responsibility he took seriously. "Dad, I'm running the show up there," he told me during one of our Sunday breakfasts at Murphy's Diner, a tradition we'd kept for years. The diner was our sanctuary, a place where we'd order bacon, eggs, and endless coffee, laughing over old stories while Murphy, the owner, teased us about reserving our favorite booth. But during our last breakfast together, Colby was different. His fork hovered over his plate, his eyes distant. "Something's off at work, Dad," he said quietly. "Some drivers are making stops that don't match the manifests. The GPS shows them at weird locations, and they're burning too much fuel for their routes." I leaned forward, concerned. "What did your boss say?" "Frank Newcomb, right?" Colby shook his head. "I haven't told him yet. I'm documenting everything. Manifests, receipts, GPS data. I want to be sure." I put down my toast and fixed him with a serious look. "Colby, report it to Frank and stay out of it. You're new. You don't know what's going on behind the scenes." He nodded, but there was a stubborn glint in his eye, the same one he'd had since he was a kid, taking apart radios to see how they worked. Before we left, he He said something that haunts me. "Dad, if anything ever happens to me, just know I'm trying to make you proud." I laughed it off, clapping his shoulder. "You're 24, kid. The only thing you need to worry about is not burning your toast." But his smile was tight, and I should have seen the fear behind it. Point 3. The day my world collapsed. 2 weeks later, I got the call at work. Frank Newcomb's voice was clipped, urgent. "Roland, there's been an accident. Colby's at Mercy Hospital. Come now." I don't remember driving. Only the blur of the hospital IS fluorescent lights, and the Dr. ES words. A shipping container had come loose, crushing Colby against a loading dock. My son, my boy, was gone. The official report came fast, too fast. They called it a workplace accident, blaming Colby for standing in an unsafe zone. Jolene turned on me immediately, her grief twisting into accusation. "You taught him to be careless, Roland," she screamed at his funeral. "All your shortcuts, your disregard for rules, it killed him." I was stunned. I'd spent 20 years enforcing safety protocols, disciplining workers for cutting corners, but Jolene's words spread like wildfire. A week after the funeral, a process server walked into my warehouse during lunch, handing me divorce papers in front of my crew. Tucked inside was a wrongful death lawsuit, claiming my negligent teachings caused Colby's death. Jolene's lawyer, Melvin Ashford, was a slick billboard attorney with a $3,000 suit and a voice that could sell ice to a snowstorm. He built a case that painted me as a reckless father who valued speed over safety, teaching Colby to ignore regulations. Point 4. The courtroom betrayal. The trial was a public execution. The courtroom buzzed with reporters and neighbors, all there to see the man who'd supposedly killed his own son. Jolene took the stand in a tailored black dress, her eyes glistening with practiced tears. "Roland always said safety rules were for bureaucrats," she told the court, her voice breaking just enough to seem real. "He bragged about cutting corners to get shipments out faster. Colby learned that from him, and it cost him his life." Every word was a lie, but she sold it with conviction. Ashford called 3 witnesses, my co-workers Jerry Watts, Monica Flores, and Rick Paulson. Jerry, who'd borrowed $200 from me and never paid it back, claimed I'd told Colby safety regulations were a joke. Monica, who I'd disciplined for sloppy work, swore she'd seen me show Colby unsafe loading tricks years ago. Rick, bitter over a denied promotion, said I'd mocked OSHA rules in meetings. Their stories were perfectly aligned, too perfect, like a script they'd rehearsed. My lawyer tried to fight back, pointing to my flawless safety record, but Ashford dismissed it. "A clean record doesn't mean a clean conscience," he said. Roland hid his negligence at home, where it mattered most. Dwayne wanted to testify, to tell the court I'd raised Colby to respect rules, but the judge ruled him biased. My safety awards were brushed off as meaningless. When the gavel fell, the verdict was a gut punch. Jolene won the $800,000 life insurance policy, our house, our savings, everything. The local paper's headline screamed, "Father's carelessness kills son." I became a pariah, a man who'd failed his only child. Point 5. The lockbox that changed everything. 3 months after the trial, I was a shell of myself, living in a rundown apartment and drowning in guilt and whiskey. Dwayne kept me alive, bringing food and sitting with me through the silence. "You've got to fight, Roland," he'd say. "This isn't you." But I had nothing left. No money, no home, no hope. Then Colby's landlord called. His lease was expiring and someone needed to clear out his apartment. Jolene hadn't bothered. She was too busy spending her blood money on a new car and a lakeside condo. I couldn't let strangers touch Colby's things, so I took over the lease and moved into his apartment, needing to be close to him, to hold on to whatever was left. Walking into Colby's place was like stepping into his life. His work boots sat by the door, scuffed from his first week on the job. His coffee mug rested on the counter, unwashed. A calendar marked our Sunday breakfasts in his neat handwriting. I spent days just sitting there, breathing in the faint scent of his cologne. On the 3rd day, I forced myself to start packing his bedroom. Under his bed, hidden beneath a layer of dust, I found a metal lockbox with a combination lock. My heart raced. This wasn't something Colby would have hidden lightly. I tried every combination I could think of. His birthday, our old address, his jersey number from high school. Nothing worked. Then I remembered the day I taught him to ride a bike, July 15th, 2008, when he was 7. His grin as he pedaled down the street shouting, "Dad, I'm doing it!" I entered Andro 71508. The lock clicked open. Inside was $250,000 in crisp $100 bills, 6 flash drives labeled with dates from the 3 months before his death, and an envelope with Dad written in Colby's hand. I tore it open, and his words hit me like a freight train. "Dad, if you're reading this, I'm gone. They'll make it look like an accident. The money's from them. I took it to protect us. The drives have all the evidence. Start with the oldest. Use the money to clear your name. They'll try to pin it on you, but you're innocent. I'm sorry I didn't listen when you told me to stay out of it. I love you. Make them pay." Point 6. The truth uncovered. I grabbed my laptop and plugged in the first flash drive. It opened to a folder packed with videos, audio files, and spreadsheets. The first video was grainy dashcam footage from a Ridgefield truck, timestamped 3:12 a.m. The truck stopped at an unmarked warehouse where men loaded boxes into black vans, boxes not listed on any manifest. Other videos showed similar drops at different locations, a pattern of secret deliveries. The spreadsheets were Colby's work, meticulous as always, tracking truck numbers, drivers, dates, and estimated values. Ridgefield Trucking was a front for a multi-million-dollar drug operation, moving narcotics under the cover of legitimate shipments. The audio files were worse. One captured Frank Newcomb, Colby's boss, on a phone call. The new dispatcher's digging into the manifests. He's got fuel receipts, GPS data. Shut him down. The other voice was unmistakable. Melvin Ashford, Jolene's lawyer. Make it look clean. We can't risk him talking. My stomach churned. They'd known Colby was onto them. The second and third drives had more. Photos of falsified documents, bank records showing payments to drivers, and recordings of meetings detailing the operation. The fourth drive confirmed their plan to kill Colby, discussing a faulty container rigged to fall. But the fifth drive broke me. Labeled Mom's Betrayal, it was a video Colby recorded in our living room 2 weeks before he died. Jolene sat with Ashford, sipping wine on our old couch. "The insurance is $800,000, Ashford said. "After the accident, you divorce Roland, blame him for Colby's death. I'll line up witnesses to seal it." Jolene nodded, her voice cold. "Will it hurt him?" "Quick and clean," Ashford promised. "Roland will take the fall, you'll get the money, and we'll start over in Costa Rica." Jolene smiled. "He's always been so small. I deserve more." They kissed, and I felt my heart shatter. The final drive was Colby's last message, recorded the night before his death. "Dad, I confronted Mom. She knows I have evidence. I heard her tell someone it's happening tomorrow. I'm scared, but I can't run. I've left copies with Uncle Dwayne. You taught me to stand for what's right. I love you." His voice cracked, but his eyes were steady. My son knew he was going to die, and he faced it with courage I didn't know he had. Point 7. Justice served. I called Dwayne, barely able to speak. He'd been holding a package from Colby, waiting for my call. "He told me to open it only if something happened," Dwayne said. "I've got it here. Meet me at the shop." We took everything to the FBI that night. Agents Patricia Greer and Marcus Coleman spent hours reviewing Colby's evidence. "Your son built an airtight case," Greer said. "He exposed a drug trafficking ring and a murder conspiracy. This is extraordinary." By dawn, the FBI launched raids across the city. Frank Newcomb was arrested in his driveway, still in his bathrobe. Drivers were pulled over, their trucks revealing hidden compartments stuffed with heroin worth millions. Ashford tried to flee, caught at the airport with fake passports and offshore account details. Jolene had vanished, but the FBI traced her to a luxury resort in Mexico, living under an alias with a new boyfriend, Dennis Vale, one of Ashford's cronies. She was arrested mid-massage, screaming about her innocence as cameras rolled. The trial was a reckoning. Ashford had run the drug ring for years, using his law firm as a front. He'd seduced Jolene, promising her a life of wealth if she helped eliminate Colby, who'd become a threat. The plan was to kill him, frame me, and split the insurance money. Jolene collapsed on the stand, sobbing. I didn't want him to die. Ashford said it'd just be an injury. The prosecutor didn't flinch. You traded your son's life for a paycheck, Mrs. Thatcher. You're as guilty as they come. Jerry, Monica, and Rick admitted to lying for $50,000 each from Ashford. They got 2 years in prison. Jolene was sentenced to life without parole for murder and trafficking. Ashford faced the death penalty. The insurance company returned the $800,000 to me, plus $1.2 million in damages. I didn't want it. I used the insurance money to create the Colby Thatcher Foundation, helping families of violent crime victims with legal support. The settlement funded scholarships for criminal justice students. Colby's $250,000 became the Colby Thatcher Safety Center, training workers to spot and report illegal activities. In 2 years, we've exposed 4 criminal operations, saving countless lives. Point 8. Closure and Colby's legacy. At Jolene's sentencing, she begged for forgiveness. Roland, I was greedy. I'm so sorry. Can you ever forgive me? I looked at the woman who'd shared my life, who'd birthed my son, and saw a stranger. Colby died for justice, I said. He died to stop people like you. You didn't just kill him, you killed every memory of what we were. I'll never forgive you, but I'm grateful my son was nothing like you. Every Sunday, Dwayne and I visit Colby's grave, bringing breakfast from Murphy's, 3 orders of eggs and bacon. We sit there talking to him, telling him how his evidence saved lives, how his courage stopped a criminal empire. Colby knew his time was short, but he stood tall, gathering evidence that brought down monsters. He didn't just clear my name, he protected communities from the drugs his mother helped spread. My son was a hero, and his legacy lives in every life he saved, every family spared from the poison he fought. If this story touched you, please like and share it to honor Colby's bravery. Leave a comment with your thoughts, and subscribe for more true stories of courage and redemption.